What's up, geniuses? Welcome back to For the Record. I'm your host, Rob Markman. This is definitely the quarantine edition. I'm broadcasting live from my bedroom. You see the Mobb Deep in the background, the EPMD, little Mac Miller plaque. We had to bring the music to you, but we're definitely at home and tapped in with two very exciting guests today. One of them is a certified legend in the game. The other is cementing his legacy as one of the most exciting MCs in hip hop right now. They just dropped their new joint EP, Lulu, and it's one of my favorites already of the year. Alchemist, Conway the Machine. Welcome to For the Record, man. How y'all doing?
What up, man? What up? Appreciate you for having me.
Nah, I appreciate y'all tapping in. Conway, where you at now? Right now, man. I just want to give people a little, set the scene a little bit, man. You up in Buffalo?
I'm in an undisclosed location. You know what I mean? I'm up here in Buff right now. I'm always in Buffalo. You know what I'm saying? I could never leave.
Dope. Al, man, where you broadcasting from?
Yeah, you can see it. I'm in the bunker. I'm in the laboratory, the ALC laboratory in Santa Monica. On the west side of things. I'm still in Cali. I'm a California guy.
Nah, I appreciate y'all, man, for getting creative, man. We locked down, but I think it's like an important moment in music when we get projects like this, and I just love and live to discuss it. So for y'all tapping in is really dope.
Appreciate it.
Nah, man, appreciate y'all. How did Lulu come together, right? Griselda, for one, is notorious for recording at a fast pace and releasing at a real consistent clip, right? So when did you start working on this album together, and how much time did it take you to really record before you dropped it?
Man, we could have did that shit in no time, a couple days or whatever, but both our schedules, we both touring, we both on the road and all that. You know what I'm saying? So it took a while to just, we do a song here, a song there, whatever. There was no rush, you know what I'm saying? So it came together beautifully.
Talk to me about the album and the title, because it was really dope when y'all announced Lulu, and then you gave us the cover with the shark. Automatically as a fan, right, your mind starts working like, what zone are they going into? And I wasn't quite sure. And as soon as I hit play, I'm like, oh, Lulu, I get it. You know what I'm saying? Just set up for us what the album is, the theme, why y'all kind of named it that, and the zone y'all was going for.
I mean, I can't front. That came from the mind of the machine. That was a machine invention. Word up.
I just, that was the first thing that came to mind. You know what I'm saying? Was that character, Lulu. And, I just wanted to, make, ode to the connects, to the plugs of the world, to the big guys who really get it done. You know what I'm saying? And put, street level guys like myself in position to do bigger things. You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of like that. That was kind of like the concept of it. Not even really the concept. I was just the title of it. I didn't really think about nothing. I had already recorded the records and all that. I wasn't really thinking about I'm about to make an album about, paid for. That's what came to mind. I'm just listening to the shit I recorded, all the songs, and I'm just like, fucking the name shit Lulu.
And that's how I did all my sprinkling. I did a little afterwards, the sprinkling of the movie and, the stuff like that. So sometimes when you're working on a project like this, once he gave me that, because we already had a lot of the records, I like to zoom out. When you're on maps, you zoom all the way out and you look at the whole earth. That's how I try to do when we're making a project with the songs we got. So once he said Lulu, it kind of, okay. And then I was able to yo, I got this intro. What do you think? Yo, what if I put this here? And then it started kind of making sense because, it was just an excuse to string all this shit that we had already.
Right, but it came together very cohesive, man. And Lulu, paid in full classic movie for the culture. So I think right away from the intro, it gets everybody on the same page. You know what I'm saying? Everybody gets in line and it sets you up for what you're about to hear. Al, you have such a unique career, man, and I want to get into that a little bit because the way that you choose to do projects, a lot of producers, you know, I imagine it as a rat race. Like you're chasing placements, you're this, you know, you're that, you're trying to get on this, you're trying to get on that. You have created a lane for yourself where I feel like Alchemist does what the fuck he wants with who he wants to do it with. Especially with these collaboration albums. Obviously, we're talking about like, you know, your discography is insane. Like Return of the Mac and Albert Einstein with the late Prodigy, rest in peace. Covert Coop, Fetty, all the Gang Green projects, Step Brothers stuff with Evidence, Rare Chandeliers, and the stuff you've done with Action. You know what I'm saying?
Couple joints.
And now we're with Conway. A handful of classics, bro.
That's the wackest joint so far out of all those you named.
You just dropped with Boldy James too. I don't want to forget Boldy James. Shout out to Boldy James. How do you choose who to work with? Like, when does it feel right to you to kind of work with somebody?
I'm a fan first, you know, and a lot of people don't. I mean, some like, you know, I rapped before I ever made beats, so you know, I'm a big fan of battle rap. I'm a fan of words, you know what I mean. And I think as a producer, you find that different MCs have like different textures to their voice, the colors that they work with, and certain shit kind of works with what you do good. So like over time, as I always keep my ear open and tuned in, and that's even how I was able to see the talent in somebody like Machine. You know what I'm saying? Like I needed that at that time, you know? So it's like, but when I do hear it, I feel like I know what I could do with it. And like, you know, 8 times out of 10, it'll work. There's a couple times when you're like, nah, I know if I can connect, we'll make some magic. Sometimes you don't. In this case, the minute we linked, it was like, yeah, this is going to work. And I think we've been just getting bigger and better every time.
What is it about Machine that stands out to you?
Where do we start?
Let's go, because I got notes and we're going to talk about it. And I hate to talk, Conway, I hate to talk about you like you're not here, but we're about to give you your flowers.
He ain't even here. You're not here right now.
You're
not here right now. I mean, when I first heard him on that Hall & Nash joint, it immediately perked my ear. It was like, yo, it's just like whenever you hear any great MC in the first time and you know you can hear it. Sometimes you hear it and like they just scored 50 on one song, you hear some other stuff. But then from there out, everything I heard from him was like, this man is insane. And then I think it was like the Griselda Ghost project where he just, I mean, and Wes, you already know Wes is a tough guy to rhyme with too. He ain't no walk in the park, but it was like on that tape, I remember telling later on when I met them, like, yo, that Griselda Ghost. Because he floated so crazy. And they told me they made that whole record, right or wrong, Machine? Was that a whole one day?
Yeah, that was one day.
When they told me that, I said, yo, get the fuck out of here, man. You know what I'm saying? Because it sounded like the quality in it didn't sound like a microwaved meal. It sounded like there was a lot. But maybe they had been putting their whole life into these records. So by the time when the stars lined up to find the right beats, it was like it all worked out. And I think it got a lot of people like me, my attention. So yeah, I think all those were pieces of a staircase to get them where they're going.
Machine, and that's real. And it's funny because I think what attracts me, right, like as a fan, is you say things, like a lot of rappers say things and they make it sound good. Like you can make it sound good, but then there's certain things that you was like, yo, he had to be there. He had to live it. He had to see that shit. And I'm very impressed we're about 40 years into rap, right? And I'm very impressed that hearing things for the first time, like, oh, we never heard that before. Like, for example, right, on 14 Keys, just the bars, right? My compadres shoot carbons. Body's gonna drop when they threw spark. And now your mama got to sell dinners just to get you a coffin.
Yeah.
Like, I never quite, if you come from a hood or for a certain section, you know the hustle of selling plates, of selling dinner plates to raise money for rent, for whatever.
Funeral, for rent, for to bury a loved one. Right. You know
I never heard that in a rap. And I'm not saying nobody's ever done it. I'm saying I never heard that in a rap in 40 years. And it's just that attention to detail. How do you do it? Like, how do you recall those little details? Because they make all the difference.
I don't know. That's a good question, man. I really don't know, man. I just try to just speak the gospel. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I be trying to be as disrespectful as possible on my bars, too. I try to have like you know what I'm saying, a sophisticated ignorance. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to be fly, I wanted to be lyrical and witty and clever, but just ignorant as fuck. You know what I'm saying? So I be saying little shit, shit like that, and I just really, you know what I mean? I don't, like you said, like growing up in the hood and shit, you see that shit a lot, like, you know what I mean, when niggas get smoked or whatever, or even if like, you got an aunt that passed, your mom, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Some people gotta, get a GoFundMe or whatever, sell fish dinners or whatever you gotta do to make sure that you send your peoples away nicely. You know what I'm saying? So I just, shit like that just pop up in my head. I always just tap back into the hood. You know what I'm saying?
Roaches in the cereal, every spoon black in the drawer.
Yeah, real shit like
That's
that. You
another
know
one
what
when we
I'm saying?
talk about Al. Thank you. When we talk about
When
another
I
one,
hear
that's
shit like that as a producer, when I heard that, I had to call him immediately. Like, yo, what
Yeah.
are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like crazy
Bro,
pictures,
man, you
crazy pictures.
growing up like that, you feel me? Like, you know what I'm saying? You gotta make you some cereal. You 9 years old or whatever, and the roach fly about that motherfucker. You know what I mean? Crawl about that motherfucker.
Those are them lines when you hear him, you just got to go.
Spoons black. You know what I'm saying? Like if you know when them spoons black on the bottom. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. You gotta eat cereal with that motherfucker.
just that's a perfect example, Al. Like the spoon black, like it's those details I think to me that makes a great MC. And again, have you ever, Al? Have you ever been in a session where somebody was spitting that shit, but you just knew it wasn't authentic? Like, have you ever, as a producer, can you really tell?
I mean, my radar detector for that is probably not as good as Conway's, because I'm not from that grain. I'm more watching a film and I appreciate the art of it. I can't say that I lived through that. You know what I'm saying? But it was like, I think somebody like Conway, the cheat code for him is that he doesn't have to make shit up. So anything you hear in his rhymes is either from firsthand experience or for somebody he knows. There's no like, and respect to an artist who has an imagination and can make some shit up off the top of their head. But I feel like that's why when people hear it and it rings the bells of those people, the ones that have been through that. So that's where it reaches. So those people, it's not for everybody, but maybe someone else will like it because of the beat or someone. But it's like there's a lot packed into the records that he makes. So that's why it touches a lot of different people. So it'd be like they always say, their fan base, Griselda fan base is a mix. Like it's so crazy when you go to the shows, you can't even pin their demographic. And that's to me shows the potential for how much bigger it could get without changing the sound, just doing the best version of us. That's how I look at it.
That's dope because it leads me to my next question. Conway, I want to ask you about Al a little bit because I do look at Griselda almost like as a designer label, right? Like y'all have a mission and y'all stick to it and y'all do what y'all do amazingly, and not everybody could fit into it, and y'all not trying to fit into what anybody else is doing. So, as far as beats, Derringer, of course, a big part of the sound, and if it's not Derringer, it's Al. So what attracts you to Alchemist, man? What makes Alchemist and just this whole Griselda Alchemist connection really work?
I mean, Alchemist probably one of the illest ever to do it. You know what I'm saying? So that's a no brainer for me to fuck with a nigga like that. And then like, he's catered to the sound that you know what I'm saying, I could say I like honed my skill on, which is like, you know what I mean? I wrote raps to the Mobb Deep tapes and, and a lot of the guys that he worked with and did music with, like, coming up in the 90s and 2000 all the way till now is like, I'm a fan as well. So I listen, I know, like, I need some Alchemist shit on every project. You know what I'm saying? But, you know what I'm saying? This I'm really like I don't want to be like marginalized and looked at like I'm like a one trick pony, like I only got what I'm saying, one vein, one pocket. Like I'll be really reaching out. I love working with different producers and different niggas and different styles. I like to try different plates and different lanes, like you know what I'm saying? Like I'm ill. I'm not just, what you hear, and you hear that a lot. Like when I reach out to these niggas, they be sending me Derringer and Alchemist sound and shit. And it's like, I got Derringer and Al already. Like, I want the shit you make good. I come, you know what I'm saying? Like, I look at it like, if I come to like let's just say Pharrell, I don't want him to try to make me a Derringer sounding beat, kind of. You know what I'm saying? I'm not coming to him for that. I need that. You beautiful. I just want you to do. You know what I mean? I need that. Get me lit, baby. I don't need that. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like a lot of producers try to like cater to just like, yeah, I think Conway will sound good on that. You know what I mean? Machine to kill that. And sometimes it get a little annoying because it's like, I could do so much more if I just had the beats. I don't have the production to really like spread my wings and fly. You know what I'm saying? So I just make best of what the surplus I got, which is just having to be the illest shit in the game. But I'd love to work with some other producers.
I wonder if that's twofold, right? And Al, this next question is for you because I do think a lot of times, people try to cater to like that. There's a perception of what Griselda is, and maybe a producer not seeing the potential of how much it can grow and expand, right? And I also wonder if there's an excitement because I think what Al is doing, I think the sound, I think a lot of producers want to be that and tap into that and don't have the courage to do it.
That's let me just add on to that too. That's the part of also why I don't trip off of it because I understand why when we're reaching out now, like for example, I'm reaching out to a nigga for a beat or something, it's because we slowly shifting the culture and changing the game to where like this is the new way, this is the new sound. Like I think these guys genuinely want to produce that. This grimy shit. They probably always wanted to, but just felt like it wasn't a lane for it. It wouldn't be, you know what I'm saying? It wouldn't work out. You know what I'm saying? It's like they felt like probably was beating a dead horse. A lot of niggas thought like this song was like out of here on his way out, or just stuck in some stuck in the 90s shit. Until we came, niggas like us came and we looking like this, driving the shit we driving, and we on Jimmy Fallon and motherfucking, you know what I'm saying? All these platforms, Rock Nation brunch with suits on. They looking like, man, this shit actually works.
I think on that note too, and what I always think when it comes to this topic, I'm like, you got to lead by example. You just have to lead by example because I remember back when Mob was in full swing, right? when they like Murder Music album, and I remember we would see some of the top guys at the time, like who were more commercial, like maybe, for example, I remember one time we saw Nelly, who is a big fan of Mobb Deep. And every time we would see him, he would show them so much love. And I remember one time he told us like, yo, I'm doing this. I'm doing what I do, but what y'all do, man, I like the way I took it was like, I love what y'all do. I do what I do. I have success with it. But man, like not saying he wishes he could do that because he had his bag. But I always took it as like, we just got to lead by example and do what we do. And also, like,
you just do your thing, man.
People forget Diddy was in the Survival of the Fittest video.
Yes, he was.
And then a lot of people didn't expect that. You know what I'm saying?
And then even a record like Calvin, not to come back to Lulu, but like even when we did that record and the way he chopped it up and sent me that back, I was like, this is crazy. And I love when we do these records because some people get caught up in nuances of like styles and techniques. Mm-hmm. And he just melted that real quick. Here, Calvin. And that's, for the rappers who are into technique and all of that, like that might have been a style you would hear on a different type of beat. But I feel like we're starting to melt those walls. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. So right. That's what I want to do.
Al, you sent a tweet the other day that made me smile, man. Just following your career and being a fan as long as I have. When you said, yo, I'm over 20 years in and arguably have one of the best years. Keep going. Trust me. Can you explain that feeling? And it kind of goes back to what I was saying at the beginning, that you're a guy who, to me, feels like you're doing what you want to do and being very successful at it. You didn't necessarily have to chase trends or fit into anything.
Yeah. It's a long time, the process, and it's like, I know you've seen that drawing where it's like a dude like digging and digging like he's trying to get to the gold and he's about to give up and there's like this much wall left between where the gold is and he turns around and backs out. Like you never know how close you are to what you're trying to get to. And it's like, I know I felt that way over the years. And I know I see some people, young guys coming up, sometimes they get frustrated because they know their shit is dope. And it's like, I mean, it's crazy because as I said, even at this point, good stuff is happening because I just stuck to my guns. And even watching Griselda or Conway, just seeing like some people are tapping in now, but you know how many years of product? And it's always funny when the things that get people's attention, sometimes it's bittersweet for the artist. Because part of you is like happy everybody sees it, and part of you is like, damn, I tried to tell y'all, but you didn't 10 tapes ago. But I tell all my artist friends when that happens, just to be humble and accept the love and don't try to throw it back, because it's like our competitive spirit makes us want to do that. But it's like, you got it now. You did it. You know what I'm saying? Like I was just talking to Rock, Marcy. He just produced a whole
Stove
album,
Dog.
which is an incredible album, but a lot of people don't know that my man makes beats. And a lot of people online were saying, wow, Rock Marcy produced the whole album. And me and him were laughing. It was like, it's funny it took all this time for people to realize he did beats, but whatever. Hey, welcome to the party. You know what I'm saying?
Not for real.
We here.
That's funny. And it definitely feels like a renaissance of the type of, again, the vivid hip hop. The sound, the vividness, the storytelling, the level of detail that y'all all bring to the table. I want to go back to Lulu real quick. The Contract is might be my favorite song on there right now. And really, because Conway, like, in your story and as you're starting to grow, it really, like, you get to the heart of the matter on that joint when you be like, yo, I know what I love. I got mad and ran to the internet and spoke what he did for me. Yo, that offended me. I owe you a penny. Don't want to smoke and sip Hennessy. And it's not because I don't love you. I just don't need your energy. And it made me start to think about what you're going through as you ascend. You know what I'm saying? And we see you on Fallon, and we see you with the Shady deal, and we see your success. Where's the conflict with the old Conway and who you're becoming, right? Because everybody can't go, right? And everybody doesn't quite understand what you're going through.
Yeah, that's again, it's definitely a big dynamic, man. You know what I'm saying? Like in that particular song, that was really was some shit, man. One of my loved ones, man, just you know, you know how niggas be like writing like subliminal shit on Twitter and Instagram and all that shit. And it's, I guess because I don't know why, you know what I mean? I feel like whatever issue it was, and this is why we don't hang and kick it, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? It ain't because I don't love you, bro. I don't need I don't need that energy right now. Like, I'm positive vibes only, man. I'm just trying to grow. I'm just trying to get better. I'm just trying to be a better man, be a better MC, you know what I'm saying? A better artist, a better father. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really ain't got time to be trying to, like, I'm a little older, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm 38. I'm not 17 or 18 no more. I don't want to hang with the crew and shit all like that every day. And that should be fine. You know what I'm saying? So I get a lot of grumbling from, like, niggas who, it's nothing um that I'm upset about, that bothers me. I get it. Like, you know what I mean? A lot of it comes from like niggas are just proud of me and just want to, be a part of what I'm doing and just want to just come smoke one with me, have a drink or whatever. But it's like, sometimes in life, man, you gotta, you know what I'm saying? You gotta separate yourself from the go-getters, like the motherfuckers who just want to chill and the motherfuckers that want to go get it. You know what I'm saying? And it's not no hard feelings. It's not no ill intentions like fuck you, nigga. None of that. It's like, bro, we getting up smoking and getting a bottle. That's taking 2 hours out of my day or whatever that I could have recorded another song. I could have, you know what I'm saying? I could have been on an email, finalizing a bag I just got for a vinyl deal or whatever. Like, we ain't thinking the same, bro. I'm thinking how I could get another bag, how I could do some more fly shit. And you just want to, whatever you want to do, that's fine, but that's what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? And I go through that. I'm from the hood, so of course, man, you go through that. Anybody who's successful in any aspect. And I'm sure NBA niggas and football niggas and all that go through it. But like you said, everybody can't go. You know what I'm saying? You can't take everybody, man. Like if you're not protecting me or helping me grow, and get, you know what I'm saying, and accomplish more and keeping me, you know what I'm saying, making sure that my mind is right and I'm trying to ascend, then there's no time to chill or hang, man. It's all love too. We get up when I see you. So in that song, that shit just came out like that. You know what I'm saying? Sorry for the long answer, but yeah, in that song, that shit just came out like that. Like I always, every verse talk about some real. Everything is my story. I don't, like I was saying, I don't pretend. I'm not in a lot of these rappers be in character, like wrestlers. You know what I'm saying? Then I'm me on record and out of the booth, in or out of the booth. So on that, every song I try to do shit like that, and you know what I'm saying. That shit crossed my mind, and that shit rhymes so beautifully. Yeah,
Nah, that's hard. And honestly, man, for me, and I think for your fans, for your diehards, that's what, again, like, you got to the heart of the matter. It's the level of detail. It's the feeling. It's not just describing the story, but telling you how it make me feel and whatever,
yeah.
you
Yeah,
know.
you gotta tap into your emotions. I wear my heart on my sleeve, man. I wear my emotions on my sleeve. So I'm gonna tell you what you did wrong, and I'm gonna tell you how it made me feel. You know what I'm saying?
Not to mention every word in that verse rhymed with each other.
That's crazy.
We're not even talking about that. Let's leave that out of the talk too.
Yeah. They didn't notice that. They didn't catch that. I
Yeah.
was about 20 some bars, all rhyming the same
Every
word.
bar, every word rhymed. But that's another
Without
topic.
repeating the word. It's the same
That's another
sound
topic. That's
without
another
repeating the word.
topic.
Right.
MC shit. You know, when we talk about your ascension, Conway, we know that major label, that Shady album is coming too, and that's a big boy. That's a not that this isn't, you know what I'm saying? But you know, there's even a bigger platform when we talk about the things that Shady has done and Marshall and Paul over there and stuff like that. What can we expect from that, man?
Man, that shit gonna be, probably the pinnacle of the motherfucking rap game for 2020. You know what I'm saying? That album right there, that's gonna, top everything off nicely. Pause. It's gonna shake the pavement. You know what I'm saying? Um, I got probably about like 10 or 12 joints on there. You know what I'm saying? I have 0 features on there right now. I got Wes and Benny on there, but outside of that, I have 0 features. Bang was from God Don't Make Mistakes. That shit with me and Eminem was from God Don't Make Mistakes. And the City on the Map shit with 50 Cent. That was for God Don't Make Mistakes. You know what
Okay.
I'm saying?
But you used it
I
on
got
the group
Rhapsody
album.
on the joint. Yeah, I got Rhapsody on the joint on there too. But it's all pain. It's that raw emotion. It's my story, my life. You know what I'm saying? The bars, the everything is perfect. Alchemist got some joints on there. Danger got a lot of shits on there. Ninth Wonder. Uh, who else? I got some shit from A-Rap Music. I got, I'm forgetting some people, but it's definitely a beautiful piece of work that I'm super excited about releasing. It's long overdue.
Nah, we excited to hear it.
I
Speaking of
got from
Shady,
King to a God. I got from King to a God though. I'm gonna drop that next month. Well, this month, end of the month.
okay, another
From King
project
to a God.
from King
Yeah,
to a
that's
God.
that's another album. That's about 13 songs. Shit, I just been whipping up during the quarantine. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, I don't like to sit on music, so that's just you know what I mean, to get them ready for God Don't Make Mistakes. Lulu was like the hot bread and butter, and they come bring you a cocktail, glass of water. You know what I mean? From King to a God, that's the appetizer. You know what I mean? And then the entrees, God Don't Make Mistakes. You know what I'm saying?
Hard. Nah, that's dope. Speaking of Shady, Alchemist, you just also, when we talk about the best year, you said you're arguably having the best year of career. One of that is the placement on M's new album, the Stepdad joint.
Word.
How did that come together? Because you've been touring with M for years. You're part of the Shady family. You guys have had joints. I remember hearing you on the Get Back on Tony Touch's album, on the Peacemaker back in the day. M definitely was
Damn, you went all the way back.
yeah.
Word. Shout to Tony Toka.
For real, legend. But it still feels special when M and Al get together because it's a rarity. How did Stepdad come together?
I mean, I DJ for him. That's my brother, so I get to spend time when we're on the road a lot. And we went to Argentina on tour, and I found that I went. Every time I go on tour, I go looking for records. So I went and found that record, and I think when we got back, I sent him a joint because I do send him beats a lot. I think a lot of people think that I send him stuff a lot, but he has a very particular taste. This is Eminem, you know what I'm saying? So finally, we found something that he was into. And it took a little time until we ended up making the record. And it was just like great for me because it's something I always wanted to do. Still a big, I tour with him. I travel with him. So I guess people always wonder why we're not cooking, But I think he's always listening. He's always like, yo, send me some shit. So, hopefully it will lead to more work. And I was just excited to be on that project and be a part of some history with the big homie,
Yeah, that was dope. And I think as fans, we was excited too, because it is one of those things. You're like, well, they always together, and we know Al is a legend. Like, Al is ill. There's nothing wrong with the Al beats. And M is a legend. Like, can we get some more frequency?
Yeah, I'm going to keep sending, man, And I don't think he's going to stop anytime soon.
He shouldn't.
He's on a roll.
He shouldn't. You also did Never Ending Story on Jay Electronica's album. A written testimony that featured Jay-Z. How did that happen? Because I remember hearing... shout out to It's The Real. You on the It's The Real podcast some time back.
My guys.
And you talked about how one day Jay came to you in the club and told you to stop wasting your beats. It was like early 2000s.
That was a real story, man. That really happened. Yeah, I mean, our mutual friend was hip hop. Hip hop Big's brother, who's always been a good friend of mine and was the A&R at Rockefeller all those years. So there were times over the years where I was able to play some beats for Jay, but it was always me coming to the Rockefeller office in Hop's office. I think I played him We Gonna Make It one time, and he told, yo, Jay, come in here. And he'll like peek his ear in the room and hear it and go, it's pretty dope. And then, I remember those moments. Probably Jay doesn't, but
he ain't take We Gonna Make It?
I think he might have passed on that one, man. But I think he did hear it and said he liked it. But these were like the early days for me when I was still getting my weight up. My point, we always had mutual people. But the way it happened with Jay Elect, I mean, that's a friend that I've had for a while. If you know him, you love him. You just know he's kind of a mystical. You can't predict him. You just either love him or you don't. And I'm on the side. I love him. So over time, I'll be sending him stuff. The same trip when I went to Argentina with M, when I bought a bunch of stuff out there. I never bought no Argentina records. And the record that's on Never Ending Story is about 3 to 4 years old. When I came home, I looped it up. Hip hop was actually at the crib, and I looped it up, and I was like, this sounds like, I think if Jay Elect said something on this would be dope. I texted it to him, and he was like, take it off your beat tape. This is mine. I own this. Do not play this for anyone. And I look back on the text, it was a while ago. So we had this record for years, the beat. And I kept the faith in it basically because that's a long time for someone to have a track. But, I just kept the faith in it. And then he ended up bridging me to Jay. And man, I love the record, obviously. And that was a big deal for me too, to just, to crack that ice and, bucket list shit, man. Good times.
I still can't believe he passed on We Gonna Make It, but...
I
can't imagine that shit without... But also, right, the record goes where it's supposed to go, right? Because what's We Gonna Make It without Jada and Styles going back and forth? Like, that's forever.
It was a bad system in the office, I think. It was a really horrible system.
That's crazy.
Nah, just kidding.
Conway, you believe this, man? I want to talk to you too, Conway, because you got a whole story, which I love, man. We go back to you saying that you wear your heart on your sleeve, the emotion. Like, y'all sold out the Novo in LA, man, and you ended the show with the cow. And I think there's certain verses from certain artists that are just like defining, right? Like, just like, and I think though that's one of those verses. When I think of that, I think of like AZ's verse on Life's a Bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like,
wow, thank you.
It's just one of those, like, I think it'll be with you forever. I mean, right? Talking about Tito, right? He gave me half an ounce in the rack and said, "You don't owe me shit. Just put the city on the map." That was 11 years ago. Now I'm just doing that.
Yeah.
Like, to the things that you talk about with your brother and you not retaliating after his death and that fucking with your pride, but then feeling like maybe God got a plan for me and this was the way it was supposed to work out so you could be right here, right now.
Yeah.
So you perform this verse and it's a real emotional verse for you and you turn around and Hov is there with some encouragement. Like what the fuck is going on stage at that moment in time in your mind and in your heart?
Oh man, it was crazy, man. I mean, I knew Hov was there. You know what I'm saying? Not because when I went on stage to do, like, I always, like, first West at this tour, particular tour, West went on first, then Benny. West do like 2 songs, then he do like a joint that Benny's on, and Benny come out the back. He do like 2, 3 songs, and then a record I got called Tito's Back come on. You know what I mean? That's when I come out. But so I usually don't even make my way to the stage until I hear like Benny's last record. So when I got to the stage, you know what I'm saying? I see Jay and Emery standing there, like, yeah, I think Emery like grabbed me by the shoulder, like, yeah, niggas, we in here. I'm like, oh shit, that shit kind of fucked me up right there. You know what I'm saying? But when I did the Kyle after I ended and shit, like, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, like that the Kyle record, it take me to a place in my emotions because again, like I think about all the shit that I went through in particular. You know what I'm saying? And just to be able to overcome all that shit, you know what I'm saying? To make it still here, you know what I'm saying? That shit is incredible, and it just bring me to a lot of it be tears of joy, and then it be tears of raw emotion, just wishing like my nigga was here with me too, enjoying this shit, living this, seeing, having this experience too, and that shit. Some shows that shit break me down. That was one of the things where I couldn't even like finish the last couple of bars of the verse. And then, my nigga Flea Law was right there. And cause I'm like bent over, like hands on my knee, hands over my face. You know what I'm saying? And he like, nah, you good, Lord? He checking on me. He like, yo, Hov wants you. You know what I'm saying? I look up, Hov like waving me over to him. So I'm trying to get my shit together and shit and talking. And he just like, man, and I apologize. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, cause sometimes I be thinking like I be fucking up the mood of the show, like everything be on a high note, it be going good, and then, but so I'm like, yeah, man, I ain't my bad, man. I ain't, you know what I'm saying? I should have been more poised. He's like, nah, man, that shit was amazing, man. I forget what he was saying word for word, but like, don't be afraid to let that out. Man, just telling me some of his, personal stories about, coming up. And just like our conversation was just so impactful, you know what I'm saying, that we just had in that few short minutes. And he was mainly after that, he just was like, yo, fuck all that. What was that joint when you was rapping like fast? He was going crazy over Overdose. That's the joint you produced, Alchemist. He was going like that shit blew his mind. Like to be rapping like that over no words, no nothing. I'm just floating, just the instrumental playing. I'm just wait a minute while it's sitting in park. Well, I hear this whole shit is getting dark.
My goodness.
You know what I mean? He's
Oh
like,
my
so
God.
what the fuck was you on, dog? Like that shit blew his mind. That record right there. He wanted to say something to me about that record right there. Yeah.
That's hard. That's hard. Yeah, man. Don't ever lose that, man. And like I said, because that whole verse is like your origin story. That's like when Spider-Man get bit by the spider. Like that is all that adversity is what gave you your superpower. You know what I'm saying? And your
That's a great way to put it.
Nah, man. And I think we're invested. I think the audience is invested. So if some emotion come out.
Yeah.
But it make the audience feel the same way because it make you as a listener reflect on the shit that you've been through and the shit you had to overcome. I think that's why we love it so much, bro.
Mm-hmm.
So keep
for
going.
Real. That's what's up. Thank you, man.
No doubt. One last question, man. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know you probably got 3 albums you trying to finish this week.
Man. No, I'm good, man. I ain't tripping, bro. I'm just chilling.
I know Al probably got 5 more EPs. He probably got another Boldy one. Congrats on the Boldy joint too, man.
Appreciate
is he officially Griselda? I saw that floating around the internet. Can we confirm that?
I mean, I'm not sure. I don't know if the ink dry, but I mean that's family regardless, though. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know the conversations him and Westside had or what they. I don't really get involved in anybody else contractual business. But I'm in my mind he's officially Griselda, and he always gonna be. That's my nigga. You know what I'm saying? But I do know that West has high intentions of making that official through the right way. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure if it's done already or not, but it's going. You know what I mean? That's family.
Of course, and I'ma always be. I already told Bodie, whatever he ever does, like moving forward, I'ma always be there for him. Whatever he needs, of course, we're gonna make this happen here. But I'm always gonna make sure. That's just like my brother. I just love him.
Well, y'all got history too. My first chemistry set, like
that's my man.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm so happy to see this happening because these are obviously my brothers. So to see this connect is like, man, we all got, big hopes. And I think everyone's going to be happy about it.
Okay. Before I got out of here, I'm going to start some shit. Al, I've been in these producer battles.
All right, good looking out, y'all. All right, y'all.
I see you in the comments. You enjoying this, right? These producer battles.
I like battles, man. I like competition. I might watch an ant fight a cockroach. I like competition. You know what I'm saying? Especially different animals. So yeah, production animals, writer animals. Yeah.
Would you jump into one? I see your name. Everybody's making their fantasy lineups now of who they want to see next. I see your name come up a lot. Would that be something that you would consider?
Saying, man, I have a gun and it's loaded with 20 bullets and it just stays on the dresser.
Hollow tips too.
It's loaded. It's on the dresser. So you know what I mean. I don't know. My phone works.
If they want it,
my phone. My phone works. No, I'm just kidding. Nah. Salute to everybody. I've been tuned in. It's been seeing some craziness. I'm having a great time. Salute to Swizz and Timberland for putting it together.
Right.
I know everyone's having a good time watching that shit. But yeah, there's some fantasy cards I know we're all thinking about.
I'm trying to set one up, Conway, man. Let's play Don King real quick. I think you and Primo will be fun. I think you and Premier will be fun.
Are you out of your mind? You trying to? You
just said you have the gun.
No, I don't have a gun anymore. I lied. I'm a fucking studio gangster now. Nah, no, those is fake bullets. Nah, Premier, I feel like Premier, you even got to take him out of the talk, man.
Right.
Are you kidding me? You're like, me and Justin did a tour. We did, obviously a long time ago, but we did tours where we were basically doing a sound clash.
You and Just Blaze?
Yeah, we toured it and did everything, and it was dope. But it was more like we celebrated. He was going to take me out every night with the PSA, but I would just go out swinging with the, with my joints. But it was a good time.
Just as a legend, PSA is a fantastic beat.
And many more that he has.
Yeah, of course. We heard it on OC album first. We heard that sample.
Heard up.
That's dope. I saw people trying to pitch you against Madlib, but you guys talked about your brotherhood first and foremost.
Yeah, that's
before anything.
Mm-hmm.
Me and him were laughing about that a couple of days ago, man. That's like one of my idols. Premier and him, I put it like damn near on the same level as far as like on from another planet. You know what I'm saying?
You and MF Doom would be a good matchup. I just don't know if it would really be Doom or who's behind that mask.
I talked to Havoc. Maybe me and him might put on a little show, man.
You and Havoc?
They were asking for that. I mean, that's just going to be a celebration for my brother P. So
yeah,
I'm with that because I think a lot of people need to be reminded of how great he was.
Havoc is amazing.
Prodigy. Everybody
P.
knows. Yeah, sometimes not for nothing, but I feel like the stuff that we do is continuing the torch for my brother for sure because towards the end, he built a good relationship with Conway and the rest of the homies. So I feel like we make him proud doing the music that we make as well. You know what I'm saying?
It's funny that you say that because when I describe Prodigy, is a lot of ways that what I was just saying to Conway. I think Prodigy is the best MC ever to describe pain. I think nobody described pain like Prodigy described pain. And when you see what he was going through in his life, it makes sense. You know, when he says rock you in your face and stab your brain with your nose bone, that shit sounds painful. But he made it come out in rhyme form so effortless. Pearly Gates was another one when he was alive that was controversial. But I think that has a lot to do with the pain that Prodigy was feeling. I think bar none, there's no MC that describes pain like Prodigy did, man.
He was the one. You know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was that boy.
Yeah. Well, man, I appreciate y'all, man, for just checking in on me. You know,
Yeah,
like
salute,
the world is fucked up right now, and we just trying to make it a little bit normal. And by y'all releasing music, and still keep our love for hip hop going, no matter what's going on outside. So I appreciate y'all just taking the time to do this with me.
Likewise,
man.
I appreciate it,
man. Thank you, Rob. We appreciate you.
Nah, I appreciate
Lulu
you too.
out everywhere, streaming everywhere, man. Tap into that Lulu. Quarantine and Lulu.
That's right. Stay inside. Listen to Lulu. Hit us up in the comments. I'm going to be in the comments with you. Tell me your favorite tracks on Lulu. Tell me your favorite Conway bars, your favorite Alchemist beats. And I'm going to be having that conversation with y'all in the comments. This is For the Record. Thank you for tuning in. Peace.
Peace.
Peace, y'all.